Hello, everyone. A lovely warm welcome for everyone that is joining us this lunchtime for our student life session. So we are going to be with you for the next hour or so to really chat through everything about what studying at Glasgow is like from a student perspective. I have a lovely panel which has joined me today, and they're going to be covering a range of different topics from clubs and societies to accommodation to top tips for making the most of your time with us here at Glasgow. If you are watching us via our website, you'll be able to ask questions via the chat. And although me and the guys will be sort of talking through questions live, we do have a team in the background who'll be answering questions as they do come in. So please, if you've got anything to ask, just drop us a little message and we'll get that sorted for you. This session, which you probably are already aware of, is taking place via our online offer holder day to day. So there's a range of different things that are going on. So we have accommodation sessions, admissions, and then also subject-specific sessions as well. So if you do have some more time, please make sure you make the most of it, as there is a real range that is going on today as well. So I should probably start off by introducing myself. So my name is Niall, and I work as part of the Recruitment and International Relations team here at the University of Glasgow. And as I said, I'm joined by a lovely panel of three of our current students here at Glasgow. Julia, would you like to give a little introduction first?
Great. So hello, I'm Julia. I'm a molecular and cellular biotechnology student. I am a first year and I just moved to Glasgow for university.
And Anna?
Hi, I'm Anna. I have just finished my time studying at Glasgow. I was a fourth year doing English literature and theatre studies, and I'm originally from Stirling, but moved through to Glasgow for studying.
Amazing. And Isabella?
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm in fourth year as well, although I'm also finished now. I study economics and music and moved here from Germany 4 years ago.
Amazing, thank you. So we've got a real range of different students here, from subjects to backgrounds. So these guys are top knowledge when it comes to any of the questions that you could need answered. So to start off with, Julia, if you don't mind me coming to you. So at Glasgow, we're very proud of the sort of diverse student body that we have, with students from over 140 countries throughout the world. Can you just tell us a little bit about how you found moving to Scotland and the culture that we have here in Glasgow?
Well, it's definitely been a huge challenge. I come from a very different background in Latin America, so it's definitely been a challenge to adjust to the different food, the fact that socket in the bathroom is on the outside, not the inside. But all of the processes that I've had to go through in order to fully become a resident have been very, very, very straightforward. I picked up my VRP, then visa registration, opening an account with the bank, getting a local phone, registering with a GP. All that has been very, very, very easy, and the university did provide me with a lot of guidance into how to proceed with a lot of those bureaucratic procedures that I had to go through in order to settle here in Scotland. There have been, again, lots of changes and a lot of adaptations, especially if you come from a different culture. You need to learn how to call for the bus, that the cars come from the different side of the street than you're used to. Figuring out how to cook with the ingredients that you find here, which are different than the ones that are more common back home. And again, some things are always going to be hard, especially when you hold your culture very close to your heart. But you can get to meet so many beautiful and nice people, and you get to build a home away from home, which has been amazing and beautiful. And I've genuinely loved my time here so much.
Amazing, thank you very much. And I'll actually stick with yourself, Julia, and Isabella, just from the international student perspective. Something we do get asked about quite a lot is what support is available from the university. Isabella, you're now in fourth year, and what have you found how have you found life at the university and your time with us?
In terms of, sorry, I couldn't understand the one word you said. In terms of support, student support.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, it's just something we get
Yeah,
asked
so
quite a lot.
I definitely think the university has a lot of support available for all kinds of different students. So that's from well-being and mental health support. There's also a lot of study-specific support that you can get if you need it. And something that I personally have found really useful at my time here is the career support available to the students. So there's a careers and internship hub that you can make use of if you're looking for either full-time jobs after uni or internships or part-time jobs during uni. And I think that's really helpful. You can always see like current vacancies that are going around Glasgow and also in other places. And there's also always a lot of opportunities with the uni itself, a lot of internships within the community of UofG. And I think it's just really useful to have a place to go to for careers advice and just seeking help in getting into the job market.
Yeah, I kind of.
And Julia, was there anything you wanted to add there?
Yeah, I just like generally agree a lot with you, Isabella. When I first came here, a lot of the like welcome activities were catered towards international students, so that definitely helped me feel like more welcome. We had events with like teas from all around the world, international quizzes, welcome fairs with like there's a lot of societies here with like Spanish and French speakers. So there is a lot of support for like helping you feel more at home. I will agree that the career service has helped me so much here as well, especially because around the world, the job market and expectations around CVs and what you need to do in an interview is different than here in the UK. So it's been great to like get some guidance on how to adapt my like employability resources to better match what is asked for here in the UK, which has been great.
Amazing, thank you very much, guys. And I'm sure you would agree with me that the Fraser building, which we have here at Glasgow, the Fraser building is a building on campus with the name Fraser. Probably already guessed that, but it is very much the home of the sort of different student support services that we have when it comes to supporting our students here. So the guys mentioned the career service. We also have our student development and learning, as well as our international student support team who can help provide any help with that sort of visa and immigration service, which Julia had mentioned there at the start. So yeah, definitely a lot of support here on campus for our students, whatever area you're looking to get into. So if you don't mind, I'm going to move the conversation on slightly to accommodation. So we do actually have an accommodation session, which is taking place today as part of the online offer holder day. But I would really just like to get a first-hand view of your perspective of accommodation. Can you tell us whether you moved into Glasgow's accommodation? Did you look into the private sector? And just overall, how has the experience been? And I'm happy for anyone to kick off with this one, guys.
Yeah, sure. I've been through all kinds of accommodation, actually. In my first year, I was in private halls for half a year. And then in my second semester, first year, I actually moved into the university's accommodation. And now I'm living in just privately rented accommodation. I'd honestly suggest for every single first year coming to uni, it is really, really helpful moving into UofG specific accommodation. It's a great way to meet new people and potentially even meet your flatmates for the next couple of years. It's definitely a great way of socializing, and there's loads of information that you can find on that. There's different types of halls and you can have a look at them and see what best suits you. And then my second tip for everything that's beyond first year is definitely to get information as early as possible on the type of flat you want to live in, because there is a shortage of flats, I'd say. Like, there are a lot of people looking for flats, so just be early and find the people you want to live with and just organize it all very early.
Yeah, so my experience has been slightly different. So since I came to uni as a mature student, I decided to like skip the halls and just find a private rent flat, which I struggled with at the start. I'm not going to lie, like kind of like Isabella was saying, you do kind of want to get in there early. So I kind of started my first couple of weeks at uni still living at home, which luckily is only Stirling, so it's about half an hour away on the train. Before I got the keys to like move into the flat. But it can be a long process, so don't stress like if it's taking time to find something if you are private renting. I mainly used the websites Rightmove and Zoopla, and I just set up like little email alerts about like 1 or 2 bedroom flats in Glasgow that were in like my budget range. Location was a thing for me as well. Like I think a lot of people think because the uni's in the West End, you have to stay in the West End, which although that would be lovely, like the West End is stunning, it's gorgeous. It is where I like wanted to stay first when I was coming through. But it is like hard to find flats there at a very like reasonable price as well. So I branched out a little bit further and I found a flat in the south side of Glasgow, which is really, really nice. And I really recommend it. It's areas like Cathcart, Queen's Park, Battlefield, Shawlands. I think these are really like forgotten about areas and they're such lovely little communities and they're really not far from uni at all. Like I'm about a 20-minute commute in the morning, just jump on a little 10-minute train into town, out onto the subway. And there's also bus links like all over the city. I can get the bus straight from my street right to the James McEwan Smith building at uni. So it's really good to branch out, even places in the East End as well. Like don't feel that you have to limit yourself to the West End. But like I say, sometimes it does take time. So don't stress if you can't find anything right away. Like there will be people at uni to help you as well. But yeah, it is simple once you get there. Looking for a private flat, but if it's something you want to do, then I would recommend.
Yeah, so since I'm a first year, I like definitely considered the uni flats or like student halls. So that's where I stay right now. At least in my residence, everything is like super closely linked to the uni system. We have a computer lab with like uni laptops. Most of our systems like we can access with our student ID. That's how we get into the building, which is really, really nice. I have like 8 kitchen mates, which sometimes gets like a little bit hectic, but it's mostly manageable. And it's great to be around people that are also students. I would say like in student halls, it's mostly first years and exchange students because those are the ones that are like guaranteed a spot in accommodation, but that might just like be my residence hall. I know that 3rd, 4th, and 2nd years also stay in other accommodations, but yeah, it's really nice. Most uni accommodations, if I'm not mistaken, all of them provide you with kettles, toasters, a microwave, and a bunch of like white goods that you will need. So it's definitely been very nice not having to look for those kitchenware utensils and machines.
Amazing, thank you guys. That was such a detailed answer from all of you guys, and so much range of different experiences you had. Did like a little bit, Anna, about living in the south side, and although we are based in the West End, you don't have to be a West End Wendy, is the term that people who go to Glasgow sometimes get called. You can stay in other parts of the city and you can make your way into campus so easily because we've just got such a great transport network here in Glasgow. So yeah, thank you very much. And just a reminder for anyone that is on the session with us today, please keep your questions coming in. We're going to be here till 1 o'clock, so we'll get them answered as best as we can. And as I said, we do have people in the background who will be answering those questions as well. So I'm going to move on to another question which just came in. And a big consideration when you're joining university is making friends and what that process will be like. And from each of you guys coming from different countries to Glasgow, or 30 minutes up the road, as you said, Anna, I just like to find out, what has that process been like? Would you like to start off with that one, Anna?
Yeah, so that's like everyone's always nervous about making friends. Like I know that's me when I'm in new situations. So before coming to Glasgow, in case anyone has a similar experience, I did the like 4-week summer school program, and luckily got chatting to a few people through that were then starting my course that I could sort of meet with upon the first day. As part of my English degree, but then with my theatre studies, I went in completely knowing no one. So it was just kind of on day one, it was just like people that sat next to me at the table. We got chatting, and you were seeing them like once a week at the same time, twice in lectures. And it's purely just chatting to people. Like, don't be afraid to say hi, or if you kind of see someone sitting on their own at a lecture, just be like, oh, do you mind if I join? Just get chatting to people. Like, there's so many ways you make friends. And then sort of through that, I'd chat to one person and then they'd introduce me to someone else they met in their class. So it does happen so naturally. Like, it's nothing that you really have to force or like make an effort with. And so you will always come to uni and you will always find someone like in all of your classes to make friends with.
Brilliant. Julia, is there anything you would add to anything Anna said?
Yeah, actually, I remember back when I was an offer holder, I got this email about the offer holder community on Unibuddy, and I actually like met my best friends through there. We created like a channel to talk amongst life science students. I like literally yesterday I had my bio final, and then we went for pizza, and then we had a picnic. I've also made friends through my other classes. You just like Anna said, you end up talking to the people that just sit next to you in class. I would say also like society, sports clubs, student associations, those are great ways of like making friends. Also, like being a class rep, you like kind of get to know all of the other class reps, which is really nice. Student halls too. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys. And you actually, something I had noted down to cover, you've already ticked it off for me, Julia. I don't even have to be here, guys. But yeah, Julia did mention that Unibuddy offer holder community. So that is an online forum, as Julia said, which does allow you to join groups with people that suit your interests, make friends, and then also share your sort of top tips for your arrival to Glasgow. So anyone who's on the call today, you and are an offer holder, you will receive an offer to join it. And I'm sure all the guys would agree with me in saying it's definitely something you should make the most of. Having the opportunity to meet people before you've even arrived here at Glasgow, it's definitely something that's going to be to your advantage, definitely. So we'll move on now. And for those of you who are tuning in who may have never studied an undergraduate degree before, so you may be joining us from school, or you may be joining us from college, or you may have actually decided, similar to maybe Anna, a mature student, you would like to study a degree for the first time. Julia, I was just wondering, could you sort of tell us how many hours of teaching you have roughly per week when it comes to an undergraduate degree?
Sure. So let me preface by saying that it really, really, really depends on your degree. But in general, the University of Glasgow puts a lot of emphasis on self-study. So there are very few teaching hours, and there is the expectation that you will go and like study and revise in addition to that, like at least like another hour on top of every hour of lectures. So most days I will have like either 2 or 3 lectures. So 5 days a week, that's 15 hours of just like lectures a week alone. Then for some classes, you might have tutorials, which are usually once a week, and sometimes they're optional, sometimes they're not. That's another hour, so like 16 hours. Life sciences students also have one like 3-hour lab every week. It usually ends up earlier, but for math's sake, let's say like you take the full 3 hours, that is like go around 19 hours plus, like say you have another class with a lab, that is another hour a week. So around like times that you have to be at uni on campus sitting with like other students, it's 20 hours at most. it's usually less for me because I won't have 3 classes every single day, and my labs don't happen every single week. So it's really manageable. And again, the university does encourage you to build your own study schedule around it, because you do need to study a lot. Some of the classes are very dense, but it's very, very manageable and very flexible.
Brilliant, thank you. And that was really, really good info, Julia. And it's a question we do get asked quite a lot. And I think you did describe it quite very well there when you did say that you do have these contact hours, which is where you will be in a lecture or you'll be in a tutorial or you'll be in a practical. But then you also need to account for the fact you have to build into your schedule that you'll need time for revision, you'll need time to work on your assignment. So yeah, really well answered. And just any of you can confirm this, is it still the case that for undergraduate degrees, there's no classes on a Wednesday afternoon, so people can compete in sports and societies? You're all looking at me very confused, which makes me think that isn't the case anymore. So yeah, that's a lot of knowledge for me to get checked up on, but thank you very much for your answer anyway, Julia, and everyone who's on, please just ignore everything I said for the last 30 seconds. So we'll very quickly move on. So the next question I would like for you guys, again, this could probably go to all of you that's on the call. How feasible is it to work part-time alongside your degree? Most students will look to find a job whilst they're at university. So can you just tell us a little bit about your experiences, as well as possibly any internships or volunteering opportunities that you may have been involved in as well?
Yeah, so I think this is a question that definitely varies depending on what type of person you are, but also what degree you study and also what year of study you're in. I personally have been very lucky with sort of the experiences I've had during uni. So I work as a student content creator for the uni. And then aside that, I also volunteer for a radio station, and I've done quite a bit of volunteering for some uni societies as well. I think in terms of feasibility with studying, it really depends sort of how much time you spend studying versus how much time you spend working. I myself, because I've had very flexible volunteering positions and positions in general, I've always been able to adjust that depending on how much I had to study. So for example, while I was writing my dissertation, I sort of had to cancel for a couple of weeks, and then after that I could get back to it. But obviously not every job allows that. So I think when you're searching for a job or an opportunity, make sure that it fits around your schedule, because obviously studying should always be the number one priority. But as I said, there's a lot of opportunities, especially on the internship hub. And I think also a lot of people between their third and fourth year, they spend the summer doing an internship. So I do definitely think it is feasible, just as long as you make sure that studying is always the first priority and you find an opportunity that's very flexible around your studies.
Yeah, I agree with like Isabella. It really does depend on sort of like how much time you're studying a week, if you personally think you can make that commitment. So I work like part-time in retail, which I'm contracted to do 2 days a week, that I've done for like my whole 4 years. So since I knew that there would always be 2 days out of between like Friday, Saturday and Sunday where I would be working, I really just had to make myself a strict timetable of when I'm going to be in class, when's my study time, when I'm working, and then when is my like downtime. So it purely just depends on like you as a person. If you think you can manage it, then that's great. Like retail jobs are really good because sometimes you'll only be working like during the day. Sometimes you might do like 4-hour shifts, 5-hour shifts, so then you still have the right parts of your day to study. So it is really easy as well to find work. Like a lot of places will advertise, like there is the opportunities and internship hubs for more uni-based ones, and then other companies that are looking. But even in general, just like coffee shops, like shops in town are always hiring. My work, like it's just a clothes shop, we always hire around Christmas time for Christmas temps. So there's always opportunities for keeping an eye out, and it can be manageable. And if you are like contracted like in a shop like mine, like you will get like holiday hours as well, and I tend to like just work them around when we have like reading weeks or when like deadlines are due, and then it just gives you that little bit of extra time to study. So yeah, definitely feasible for me, but don't feel like you have to. If it's something that you feel isn't going to work with your studies, then that's totally fine as well.
I found that like as a first year student, finding a job like might be a bit harder again, because employability also depends on the year that you're in. Many internships, if you want to do something related to your degree, will ask you to be at least a second year student to consider you. Some of them will consider you in first year, but most first year students, from what I've gathered, they like work at either like at uni or tutoring jobs. There's a lot of caring jobs. I work in external relations at uni, and I get like super flexible schedules, so I can work like whenever I'm free. I also work in event staffing, so I can work whenever there's an event, and I can decline shifts if that would not work with my schedule. And I also volunteer 1 hour a week as a basketball coach for primary and secondary school children with Rising Star basketballs, which has been amazing, very fulfilling, and it keeps me active, which is great. So if you're looking to enhance your employability as a first year student, volunteering is something that I would definitely encourage you to look into. Even if you already have a job, volunteering people like will take you regardless of your academic background, and a lot of the time they provide you with training to like carry out your positions. So that's great.
Amazing, thank you. A basketball coach, Julia. That's very interesting. Have you had a chance to go to a Glasgow Gladiators game? Yeah, the basketball team. Oh, okay. Thought I would check. But thank you very much, guys. Again, amazing answers, and I really love the fact that you did mention the student opportunities up there. That is something we're really proud of at Glasgow, because it gives students the opportunity to do a job on campus, as the guy mentioned. You could be a content creator. We have student ambassadors, which are very flexible shifts, and you can really tailor it around your degree. And I think the key message that the guys were getting across there was, it's good to have a part-time job, but just remember, you don't want it getting to the detrimental effect of your studies. So just ensuring the studies are always at the heart of your plan, and the work alongside it can support that. But where we're based in Glasgow is in the West End of Glasgow. Outside of university, there is a real range of sort of hospitality related jobs. So things like cafes and restaurants and bars. And Anna, you mentioned retail. Is it city centre that you're based in at the minute? Yeah, so a lot of the retail opportunities that is available in the city centre of Glasgow. I worked in Next when I was at university, Anna, so I'm a fellow clothing retail student. So yeah, it's just a really good opportunity for everyone to make some money and just make sure you enjoy your time whilst you are with us here at Glasgow, and your studies are supported throughout. So we're around about half an hour in, guys. So yeah, still got 30 minutes here, but we'll be raiding through a range of different questions. So please keep them coming in, and I'm sure the guys would agree with me that we're really enjoying this. It's a very fun session, the student life session, because you're just getting a real great flavour of what life is like for us here at Glasgow. Something that's is quite popular for international students is scholarships, Julia. So I was just wondering, did you receive a scholarship? And would you mind taking us through that sort of process of securing a scholarship?
Great. Yeah, I did. This particular scholarship that I have is the World Changers Global Excellence Scholarship, which is the scholarship that is available for international students that don't qualify for any like European or United Kingdom based scholarships. And I did international baccalaureate in high school. So depending on your IB, which is international baccalaureate, or your A-level score, if you did A-levels abroad, there is a certain threshold depending on your degree or depending on your school. And say if a threshold is like 36 points over 45 and you got like 38 or anything over 36, then you get £7,000 off, which is great, which for me comes to like a third of my tuition. And it will be a different percentage of your tuition depending on what degree you're doing, but it will always be 7,000. And I believe that's like the largest scholarship. And a lot of my international friends actually have that scholarship and have not done A levels or IB. So I'm pretty sure that the university does accommodate for other international testing standards. But IB and A levels are the only ones that I'm familiar with. I didn't have to go through any external process. There are some scholarships where you have to go and apply and do a little essay. For this one, since it was only grades based and the university already had my grades, it was just granted when I accepted my offer.
Perfect, thank you very much. And yeah, you're totally right in what you said, Julia, that scholarship is available to students even if they haven't studied the IB or an A level. You'll see those grades on our website, but if you're in that situation where you're doing an alternative qualification, you can just reach out to us via our inquiry form and we'll be able to tell you what the equivalent would be in your chosen qualification. And yeah, we've got a real range of scholarships. A little ticker tape at the bottom there, it did show our scholarship database. So you can go onto that database and put in some personal information about yourself, and we can sort of tell you which scholarships we think you could be entitled to. And it could be a scholarship which requires no application, like the one that Julia received. So we can just automatically see that you're entitled to that via your application. Or there might be ones where we require an application. So it's good to get some background information just now so you can get a real feeling of what it is you could be entitled to, and then also whether or not you'll need to apply or if we'll be able to just see it via the application that you submit to us here at Glasgow. So I'll move on now to a question for you, Isabella, if you don't mind. So what is the main university campus like that we have here at Glasgow? Any personal favourite places to hang out?
Yeah, so of course the main building, the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts building is of course sort of the eye catcher of the university, and I absolutely love our main building. However, it's not actually where I spend most of my time. Of course, the main library and places like the James McCune Smith Learning Hub are really good places to study and sort of hang out during the day. They have cafes as well, and you can get some food there, but they do get quite packed at times. So there's definitely a lot of other study spaces and just spaces to hang out in general I can recommend. Of course, at the moment with the weather, the park is usually where most students sort of spend their day. I personally spend a lot of my time in the Glasgow University Union. There's also a little cafe/canteen in there. And then, I don't know, my recommendation to anyone coming to Glasgow is just to explore as many places as you can. Go into every single building because there are a lot of secret hidden study spaces. And then after a while, you'll definitely sort of figure out what your go-to study space is. And yeah, it took me a while, but I think once you've been everywhere, you can sort of figure out what you like the most and what works best for you. But as I said, little tip, look through all of the buildings because there are quite a lot of hidden small libraries.
Amazing, thank you. And yeah, the Harry Potter building, which we're kind of famous for at Glasgow, that Isabella mentioned, that's our Gilbert Scott building. So that's the name of that, and that was the original building that we had when we moved over here to the West End campus in the late 1800s. And we've got such a wide range campus now that you really get the perfect balance of those historical buildings, but then we also have all these new modern structures which provide all of our students with the top end facilities that you'll need to continue your studies with us at Glasgow. And did you, am I right in saying you mentioned one of the university unions there, Isabella? Yeah, so would that be the QMU or the university union that you prefer?
I personally prefer I spent most of my time in the GU, so the University Union, but of course the QMU is also a place a lot of people go to. There's always, I feel like the unions are a really good mix, because I, for example, study most of the day in the union and eat there, but then also in the evening there's loads of events there. So I think it's sort of a place, both unions are a place where you can do everything from studying in the morning to like partying till 2 o'clock in the evening. Both unions have a lot of like concerts and events and all sorts of just things you can do. So I think it's a great place for everything, to be honest.
Amazing, yeah. I just wanted to double check with you, just because we're a little bit unique at Glasgow, and that we do have 2 university unions on campus. Traditionally, most universities will only have 1, but us having 2, as Isabella mentioned, it does provide different opportunities for students who have different interests to go and hang out and chill out and study or party until your shoes fall off towards the end of the night as well. So we will move on now, and a question actually for all of you is, I did mention earlier about clubs and societies, and it's a really important part of life at a university. Would you each mind explaining if you have joined any clubs and societies, and how you've found them, and would you recommend any? Anyone to take that one first?
Yeah, I'll take it. So I've joined quite a few societies actually. In my first year, when I had a lot of time because uni just wasn't quite as intense as it is now, what societies was I in? So I was in my number one society I've always been in for 4 years is the Glasgow University Student Dance Company. And I've actually been a choreographer for the dance company 3 times. They have an annual show. So that's sort of been my main one. But then aside from that, I've dipped in and out of tennis as well, and ski. There's a ski trip every year, which I can really recommend. I've been part of golf as well, and I was a year representative for the Economic Society. So what I can say is that my top tip for anyone joining in first year is go to as many societies, or at least try them out as you can. Go to as many events as you can, because for me, societies were the best way of finding friends. Like all of my friends that I'm still friends with now, the majority are from the societies that I joined. And there's a range of societies. So of course, sports and creative activities, but then also a lot that could be related to your degree directly and also give you some experience in sort of the area you want to go into. And I just think it's a great way of meeting people, making great memories, and also gaining experience.
So yeah, mine's is a little different. Isabella's putting me to shame with like all the societies she's been in, but I actually haven't. I didn't explore societies and clubs at uni, just with commitments I had with work and other things outside. So it is maybe something that I wish I'd done more, but I do know a lot of people that have been part of them and they've loved it, especially if you're coming as well. And if you're doing something like theatre studies, there is like a student theatre company, STAG, that a lot of my friends have been part of, that put on shows. There's like musical theatre societies. So guaranteed that there is definitely something that you will find. If you're interested in, there will be like a society for you and for you to get involved in.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Anna in the sense that I too wish that I had joined more societies than I did. When I first got there, I got like overwhelmed by the huge amount of societies at the welcome stalls. I still have a lot of their flyers. I have joined a few though. Identity-based societies are great. I would also say that sports are great. Even if you don't end up joining the sports club, they have all of them. Free tester sessions during Welcome Week, which is actually how I started volunteering as a basketball coach, because I couldn't join the team because of time clashes. Because it was like lectures and trainings were at the same time. If you're a person of faith, then I would definitely recommend finding your local like place of worship. I'm part of the University of Glasgow Catholic Association, and it has been incredibly nice and welcoming and lovely. And it's one of my favorite places like on campus. So that's been great.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And the freshers fair that you did mention there, Julia, that's such a great way to sign yourself up for some different societies, which you currently enjoy or you might have never even heard of before. That's the great thing. And one of the best things as well is if you have a particular interest, there wasn't a squash society when I was at university. I think a squash club, sorry, that has changed. But yeah, that was something I wanted to sort of try and start as a club was squash. So if there is something that you're playing, there isn't something there, you could look to start a club or a society and get fellow people who are interested to come and join you. So yeah, definitely something that probably is good for students to consider, and that welcome week is a great opportunity for you. So we've talked a lot about ourselves at the university, and I was just thinking we could maybe move it a little bit more towards firstly the city of Glasgow, and then secondly maybe a little bit more about Scotland. So Anna and Julia, how have you found Glasgow coming from different distances to Glasgow? I just was interested to find out what's your views on the city, and do you think it is student friendly? Would you like to start that one, Anna?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not far, so like growing up I'd visit Glasgow a lot, like even before uni I studied in college here. I love it as a city. I think it's like one of my favourite places. There's a nice Glasgow-Edinburgh rivalry that I'm sure you'll pick up on when you come, but Glasgow I think is definitely one of the best places. It's just like really friendly and really welcoming. I think the people here are so lovely. Like Glasgow Uni isn't the only uni. There's like 3 other unis in the city, and also like performing arts schools. So like there's like so many students here. It's such a student city. It's such a big city. There's always something to do. So yeah, I just really love it. You'll really enjoy it if you come.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Anna. Glasgow has been an amazing city. I've loved moving in here. One thing that I will say, that not particular about Glasgow, but like Scotland in general, is that if you're under 22, you get free public transportation. You get free bus travel, which is the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I have used my travel card to go visit like all around the city, all around the country. It's been great. There are also a lot of student deals where you wouldn't expect them to be. There's like student deals even at the pharmacy, which comes in very handy if you're a student. Other aspects of student life are also very affordable. Concerts are so much more affordable than back home. Going out to pubs and bars is also very popular, but there are also lots of discounts for just going for a coffee with friends. And like in the spring, it's like beautiful outside. There's a lot of study spots that are very, very green and very nice. Especially during spring exams. I see a lot of students studying there. The parks are like so full during this time, and it is generally a very, very safe place, especially here in the West End. I would say if you're concerned about safety, we do have like the university does have a collaboration with the Safe Zone app, which has a bunch of amazing features. But if you're the type of student that likes like to go out, you can set up a timer. So if you don't get home as expected, they phone you, and if you don't reply, they have your location. So you can rest assured that like you will be safe. And the university does take a lot of steps to ensure that their students have the best experience outside of studying, and that they're safe, which is great, and I love.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys. And is there anything you would add, Isabella, in terms of the rest of Scotland? Have you had an opportunity to travel about and explore a little bit more of what you have here?
Yeah, so first of all, I completely agree with Anna and Julia. I think, you almost don't really have to leave Glasgow because there's so much here to explore and so many people to meet. But for the case that it does get a bit too much, which it sometimes does with studying, there are so many different places you can explore. I myself, I've been quite lucky. I've been coming to Scotland ever since I was a baby, and I've lived in Scotland on and off throughout the years. And my mum's a massive Scotland fan, so I have travelled like pretty much everywhere, but I was quite lucky, obviously, because she always took me. But I would say, as Julia mentioned, for students, it is super, super helpful to get a Young Scot card, which has a free bus travel. And with that, there are so many places you can explore. And I think of course, there are many, many places in Scotland you can go to. But I think if you're at the uni and sort of looking for something that's close and still really, really nice, my favorite places would probably be Loch Lomond. It's super close. I think it's like it's roughly 50 minutes on the train, but there's also buses available to go to, and there's all sorts of places you can explore. It's just beautiful. There are hills you can walk up or just walk around Loch Lomond just for a day trip. Then also, of course, Edinburgh is always really close. There's a bus and a train to that as well. You can get there in under an hour. Of course, also places like Stirling. And just in general, I think there's a lot of places very close, a lot of museums. They're also mostly free, a lot of beautiful nature you can explore. So basically what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily... Exploring Scotland is definitely something you should do when you come to uni and go as far as possible, especially the islands are lovely. But I think there's a lot of places that are really close that you can go to with either your bus pass or the train, even just for a day trip to sort of escape uni for a bit.
So good, man. Thanks very much. And then, as the guy said, if you want to go from the best city in Scotland to very much the second best city in Scotland, you can do it easily in an hour. So we're going to move on, guys. We've only got about 15 minutes left now. So I was hoping to get a little bit of insight into sort of cost of living as a student. It is a big topic at the minute, and it's something students are really considering when choosing a university. So I'm going to come to you, Isabella and Anna. Do you have any money saving or budgeting tips for new students?
Yeah, I would say kind of like Julia was saying, just ask everywhere if they do a student discount, because like 9 times out of 10 places will do it. Like even if it's just 10% off like something you're buying, books, like coffee, it's so handy. But something that has been my biggest thing, which I really recommend for coming to uni, is learning how to batch cook has been my savior. Like you could the amount of meals you can make, like 6 or 7 meals out of like £10 worth of ingredients and just freeze them, and it's been my lifesaver. One, for learning to cook for something to do, but also when you're coming home from a long day of studying and you just cannot be bothered cooking, you can just like reheat something you've made. So honestly, that is like one of my favorite tips that I just tell everyone. I'm just like, learn how to cook a little bit, freeze it, then you're solid for the month. It's so useful.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Honestly, ask everywhere for student deals. Also, the apps I use are Uni Days and Student Beans. You can just scroll through the places that have deals, and sometimes I'll just look at, I don't know, what restaurant or what bar is doing a discount right now, and then I'll just go there. Unfortunately, for the past 4 years, and I've been trying to tell myself that I need to batch cook, and not a single time have I actually done it. But in terms of food, my biggest tips is... I usually, because I was quite stressed in 3rd and 4th year, I ate a lot on campus for lunch. And while there are some places that are maybe a bit expensive, if you explore all of the different canteens there are on campus, there are also some that are really affordable. So that's something I can definitely recommend there. And then other tips for food is Lidl. Maybe I'm a bit biased as a German, but I think that's a really good place to go to just to do your weekly shop. And yeah, again, just ask everywhere for a student discount. Even if you think they might not do it, they might actually do, as Julia said earlier, even student discounts in places you would never expect.
Great, and I definitely agree with you there, Isabella. It's not a German thing. Lidl is the absolute goat of a place. That bakery section, beautiful. So we'll move on to rounding off the session today, guys. It's been brilliant. All of you have gave us so many informative answers. I was just wondering from each of you, what's your top tips for any students that are looking to join us at UofG next year? Julia, would you be happy to start that one off?
Sure. My top tip, other than getting your Young Scot card, just be open to the wide range of different opportunities here at uni. When I first got here, I didn't sign up to a lot of societies again because I was worried that the academic load might be a bit much. But especially if you're a first year student, it is so manageable. So definitely don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Um, just like Anna said, when you're moving into uni for the first time, you might be moving away from your parents' home. So there's a lot of skills that you need to learn. Definitely like learn to cook, make time for meal prep. That will save you like so much time and money. But also just like have fun. It's a very fun and very lovely city to be in. And you will never run out of things to do.
So I would say one of my top tips would be really use this time and these 4 years to like hone in your time management skills. Like I feel like that is probably the most useful thing that I'm taking away from these 4 years. Like from the get-go, I just was really focus and made timetables for studying. Like you don't have to be rigid, like things will come up that will throw your studying completely out of balance. It's fine. But as long as you've got that something to root yourself back to, that you know that you have your time when you're studying, you know when you have your downtime. And it really helped me to like alleviate some stress that I was having. So I definitely think use your time wisely, manage it really well, and you'll be fine. And kind of just like Julie was saying, just have fun. Like the 4 years or however long you're studying, they do go fast. Like I remember in first year, someone was like, these will be the quickest 4 years of your life. And I was like, yeah, like whatever, 4 years is such a long time. But now I am sat here like completely finished, waiting to graduate in a few months. It flies by. So really just enjoy it and enjoy every opportunity you can get from it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Honestly, it goes by so fast. And if I'm thinking back now, if I were to tell, or like I am telling future first year students sort of what my top tip is, I think just enjoy it and be as open as possible, especially the first 2 years of your undergraduate degree. I think while of course the academic side is very important, there's a lot of flexibility in sort of maybe focusing on your social life. I'd say, as earlier said, join as many society as possible just to meet your people, meet your crowd. I know it's really hard, especially when coming to a new city and not knowing many people, but just put yourself out there. I remember in first year, I spoke to people even in really uncomfortable situations, but you just have to sort of get over that and just chat to everyone, even if it doesn't work out in the end. So I think just be open to new experiences, and especially sort of the first 2 years of your undergraduate degree, I'd say do focus on your uni studies a lot, but I think definitely take that time to build friendships and have new experiences, because later on, these are only 4 years, and I think they are very crucial years to make friendships, have experiences, and especially in third and fourth year of uni, I think the academic load does get a lot more. So use your time wisely and just be open to every single opportunity that's given to you, and sort of just enjoy it, because one day you're all gonna have to work 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. So just use your time wisely, and as I said, take every single experience and opportunity that's given to you.
Exactly. Enjoy it whilst you can, guys. Enjoy it whilst you can. So this session's been absolutely amazing. I just want to thank everyone for all the questions that have come in today. It's been so enjoyable just sat chatting with the three guys and answering any questions you have about Glasgow and the university as well. So I'm going to round off with one final question to each of the three of you. What is the best part of being a student here at UofG? Anna, would you like to start?
Yeah, I feel like there's so many things. I just think it's an amazing uni to come to, just for like everything we've spoke about, the experience. But I think one of my favorite things is purely just like how stunning the campus is. Like I would walk around campus and I'd just be like, I feel so lucky that I get to study here. The buildings are like amazing, the older buildings, and especially if you go like higher up, like the tallest floor in the library or the tallest floor in GMS, the views are just stunning. So I just love the whole location that we're in, and I really just take it in every time I'm there.
Yeah, I agree. Every single time I study, even if it's really hard, I at least look at the uni tower and I'm like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. So I agree with you. And then the other thing I definitely say for me, I mean, Glasgow has its slogan, people make Glasgow, and I completely agree with that. I think one of the best things as a student here is just the people, whether that's your friends or even the teaching staff or just anyone you meet on the street. I think Glasgow is such a friendly place and it just really makes my day. And I think it's made my life here a lot easier as well, especially when the academic side gets very hard, is always to have people around you who support you. And as we also said, the uni has a lot of support there and available if you need it. And I think just having a good support system has been sort of the best part.
Yeah, Isabella kind of just stole my answer. I was just gonna say, like, people here are so nice, especially if you come from an international background. You will find that Glasgow is one of the most welcoming places. It's the diversity on campus is insane. You will find people from every single possible corner of the world, and it is such an enriching environment. And I love it. I would not change it for anything else.
I think that was the perfect line to finish with there, Julia. I love it and I would never change it for anything else. But what more could you want? I just want to say a massive thank you again to our lovely panelists who have spent the last hour answering the questions from you guys. So Anna, Isabella and Julia, thank you very much. And for those of you who are tuning in today live, remember we do have some more sessions which are running throughout today. So head on over to the website and you can see what we still have coming up. If you do have any further questions, we do have some services which are available. So things like our Ask a Student service is available on the university website. And if you're looking to find out a little bit more about student life, we do have our very own podcast here at Glasgow. So the Get to Know podcast features current Glasgow student, which is available on all of your major podcast providers. And we do have a great range of student vlogs and blogs, which carry great insights into aspects of student life, as well as some of the day trips around Scotland that the guys had mentioned throughout the session as well. But thank you very much again for our audience. Thank you very much to our panelists. I would just like to wish everyone all the best when it comes to exams. If you're still waiting on any exams before coming to Glasgow, thank you very much for watching. We hope you have found it very informative, and hopefully we'll be welcoming you all to Team UofG in the not too distant future. All the best, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.